We are speaking on the subject of debt, and I'm going to look at types of debt and also possible solutions. Now, per definition, what is debt? Debt is when you owe anyone money. Anytime you don't pay in full, that's debt. Now, there are different kinds of debt, and I'm just going to briefly look at those. The first one is secured debt. That means the dealer hands you the keys to a brand new SUV. You pump your fist in the air and drive home to show off your car you just bought, except you didn't just buy it, you financed it. The bank owns the car. You just get to pay them to drive it each month. And that is what we call secured debt. With secured debt, any money you borrow is backed by a physical item. In other words, there is collateral. Secured debt is great for lenders because it means less risk for them. And that would include to buy a house. The second type of debt is unsecured debt. Now, just as the name say, unsecured debt means there's no collateral for the loan. Think of items like credit cards, student loans, medical bills, payday loans, or personal loans. It's money you've borrowed, but it's not directly tied to an item. This makes it harder for the lender to get their money when you don't pay up. So unsecured debt usually has a higher interest rate. I'm just wondering if you know what the interest rate on your credit card is. And then unsecured debt also means that you're more likely to face debt collectors or lawsuits if you miss payments. The other type of debt is revolving debt. Now, revolving debt is an open line of credit. It's when you enter into a cycle of borrowing money and paying back just to borrow more money. It's kind of like the revolving door you use to enter a mall to buy things with your line of credit. You can borrow up to a certain amount, called a credit limit, and as long as you make the minimum payment by a specific date each month, you can keep spending. So revolving debt is, for instance, your credit card and store cards. Think of Target, Truworths, Edgar's, those type of revolving debt. Only paying the minimum each month, or anything less than the full balance for that matter, means that you have to pay interest on the rest of your balance later. And if you miss a payment, you'll owe late fees on top of everything else. Now, there's also non-revolving debt, and this is a line of credit that can't be used more than once. It's, for instance, a car loan, a business loan, a student loan, or a mortgage. You borrow a specific amount of money and pay it back in installments before a certain date. And your minimum payment each month usually depends on how much you originally took out. Once you've paid off the loan, it's gone and you don't get any more funds to spend. Then the last type of debt that I want to look at, it's called sneaky debt. Now, today we can buy cars, motorcycles, couches, computers, dishwashers, and even cell phones, and even pets. You can finance anything nowadays. You've probably seen the flashing neon signs that say you can buy now and only pay after the next 3 months, or 90 days, same as cash. These are examples of sneaky debt. Now, debt is debt, whether considered good debt or bad debt, debt is debt.